Hey YouTube, this is City Prepping. In this video, we're going to take a look at the Kodiak solar generator. This is a product that's been on the market for a little while, and it's a revolutionary technology and a very lightweight unit that has many applications in a grid-down SHTF scenario. In this video, we're going to take a look at some different uses. We're going to talk about the features of this product, and we'll look at some of the different competition on the market. And again, we'll just do a little more of a deep dive explaining how this actual unit works. Spoiler alert, I actually really like this. I've been wanting one of these for quite a long time, and I'm glad I was able to get a hold of one. And so I'll go through, I'll give you my honest opinion, I'll share the pros and cons. And so let's talk about this more, and let's jump in.
Here's what we're going to cover in this video. What makes a solar generator so unique, features of this unit, why you'd want this in a disaster post-SHTF scenario. I'll do a quick overview to explain how a solar generator works. We'll look at the primary competition on the market and how this stacks up against it. We'll run some tests using the product. We'll discuss EMPs in relation to this product. And finally, we'll cover some of the downsides of solar generators, especially compared to gas generators. So what makes a solar generator so unique? And why is this technology a game changer for preppers? The first reason is the one that sold me personally. You have an unlimited fuel source as long as you have the sun, and there's no reliance on gasoline. Another reason is that you can charge it up to 2,000 times. Their primary competitor only has 1/4 of this ability, which we'll discuss a little more in a moment. And it has a 10-year shelf life. These points were the primary things that sold me on the solar generator as an option for a backup power source for when the grid goes down. I spoke with an individual recently in Puerto Rico, and she spoke about the lack of gasoline and the impact it had on her family. I've also read a lot of forum postings after Florida was devastated by Hurricane Irma, and one of the common issues people brought up was the lack of gasoline and their inability to run a generator. So let's take a look at some of the features of the actual unit itself. On the front, we have an RV plug-in, 6 110 VAC plug-ins, 2 Basecamp LED ports, 2 12-volt DC car sockets, 4 USB outlets, a battery storage indicator, and a power switch and power display. On the sides, we have a high current charging port, which can handle up to 600 watts through the Nutric port. The cool thing is that while the generator is charging, you can still power other devices. A low current charging port, an external battery bank connection. And this is one of the other unique features of this product. You can chain this with other batteries, again, something their competitors cannot do. I'll do a video on this shortly showing how to expand this out. Also, you have a heat vent as well as 2 on the other side. So let's take a quick look at the solar panels that power the generator. I picked up 5 50-watt panels that are very lightweight, portable, and fit in a bag, providing me with roughly 250 watts to charge my generator. Again, remember this unit can handle up to 600 watts of power from solar panels. You can chain these particular solar panels together with a connection point they have on the side. Each of the power cables that connect to the solar panels can handle 150 watts of power each, meaning I had to use one cable on 3 of the panels, which produce 150 watts, and the other cable for the other 2 panels, which produce 100 watts, and then connected the 2 cables into a 3-way adapter with a Nutric plug-in that plugs into the side of the generator. Whew, that was a mouthful. So why would you want this for an emergency SHTF scenario? When the grid goes down, having the ability to produce electricity would be critical for so many reasons, especially for those with health issues like diabetes requiring them to keep insulin cold. Also, people that use CPAP machines often purchase these as a backup. You'll also want to be able to refrigerate your food. I will be adding a small refrigerator soon in my garage that uses less power as a backup if the grid goes down. One of the things I especially like is that unlike a generator, it is quiet and it produces no fumes, which is critical for OPSEC. In addition, you don't have to do maintenance on it like you would on a gas engine. It also has a very lightweight setup. The solar generator itself only weighs 20 pounds, and the 5 panels I have a combined weight of another 25 pounds. The solar generator and the panels would definitely be items I'd throw in my vehicle if I had to bug out. Now, the possibilities are endless for things you would want to power in a grid down scenario. Things like your computer where you store critical information like survival documentation, a ham radio and cell phones, which would be very important for communication. You'd want to be able to power your TV and tablets for entertainment purposes for your kids. Okay, so let me give you a brief geeky explanation of how a solar panel works. Okay, so they advertise this unit as having an internal battery capacity of 1100 watts. So what does that even mean? Without going into a long, boring discussion of electricity, let me put that in layman's terms to give you an idea of what you could power with this and for how long. Your typical home appliance in the United States uses 110 volts. That's the normal wall socket you have in your house. Now, every device uses a certain amount of amps. Some use more, let's say like a coffee machine, whereas your phone would draw a very small amount of amps. Most appliances list the amount of amps they use on the side. So a watt is simply amps times volts. If you start looking around at different electronic devices in your house and take note of how many amps they use, you can start figuring out very quickly how many watts they'll consume during normal usage. Let's take a look at something you'd want to power after a disaster. Let's say a small 18 cubic foot refrigerator. It draws about 2 amps during normal operation with a momentary surge of roughly 6 amps when starting up. So a fairly accurate estimate in this example of how much we would expect it would use would be 110 volts times 2 amps per hour times about 20%. Now refrigerators don't operate all the time. They run roughly 20% of the time. So within 1 hour it would use roughly 44 watts, and over 24 hours about 1056 watts. With this information, you can start getting a general idea of what you would be able to power with this device and how many panels you would want to pick up. Again, remember the solar generator can handle up to 600 watts of power coming in. So how does this device stack up against competition on the market? The closest competitor is a Yeti 1400. So let's do a quick side-by-side comparison of the two systems. And by the way, all this information below can be found on both manufacturers' websites, which I'll also post in the description section below. So let's first look at the weight. The Kodiak comes in at 20 pounds, whereas the Yeti 1400 comes in at 45.7 pounds. Are these systems chainable? In other words, can you hook them up to external batteries to charge them and to also draw the power off? With the Kodiak, yes, and with the Yeti, no. The charging life cycle of the Kodiak, you can do up to 2,000 charges, whereas the Yeti only gets 500. How many watt hours can it produce? The Kodiak can give you 1,500, the Yeti's 1,425, so they're very similar there. The recharge time from a wall for the Kodiak comes in at 9 hours, whereas the Yeti takes 24 hours. Regarding how many watts you can pull in through solar panels, with the Kodiak you get 600 watts, and with the Yeti it's 240 watts. The recharge time, and again this is at maximum capacity using solar, with the Kodiak you can do it at 2.5 hours, and the Yeti is at 6 hours. Now regarding the price point, the Kodiak with the 10% coupon I'll post in the description section below actually is $100 less than the Yeti. So side by side, the Kodiak is definitely a hands down winner in my opinion. So let's use this powering some appliances and devices around the house. Alright, so let's look at some power tools. A miter saw, two drills at the same time, a blender, an espresso machine. What prepper doesn't need a good cappuccino when the world is falling apart? Am I right? So let's talk about dealing with EMPs. They actually sell Faraday bags that you can store your solar generator and solar panels in if this is a big concern for you. And these Faraday bags are actually military grade. So let's talk about what many will most definitely point out in the comments section as potential downsides of this product. The first and most obvious will be the price tag. Yes, they are more expensive than a gas generator, especially once you add in the cost of solar panels. They're not as powerful as a gas generator either at a comparable price point. Yes, you can get gas generators at a cheaper price point, but then you'd have to keep gas on hand, which would be a limited, finite amount, and once gas runs out, that's it. With the ability to charge the battery 2,000 times on the Kodiak, that means you would have roughly 5.5 years worth of use out of this, which to me would be worth every penny in a prolonged grid down scenario. So regarding the interface was obviously designed by engineers. It's not overly friendly or easy to understand. Goal Zero definitely does a better job with theirs. But once you get an understanding of what information is being displayed on the panel, it makes sense, but there's a small learning curve for sure. So here's my final thoughts on the Kodiak solar generator. I think it's a great investment as a prepper. Again, it checks all the boxes for me and stacked up against a primary competitor on the market. It's a clear winner and something I definitely want in my inventory of survival gear. Solar is something I've been researching for a while, and I'm honestly glad I have this. If you're interested in knowing more or picking one up, I'll post links in the description section below, along with a 10% off coupon. I'd be interested in hearing your feedback and thoughts on this unit in the comments section below, and if you enjoy the video, please feel free to like or share on social media. As always, be safe out there.